we do here is go back.
And that hopefully should be working. So, hi, this is Mike. Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How To. It is Saturday the 16th of November. I had to think what month it was then. It's 2019, I'm pretty sure of that. Yeah, it's 2019, isn't it? Yeah. Anyway, welcome to the live stream. It's 9 o'clock-ish on a Saturday. I am fashionably late as always. Unfortunately, I was trying to get my hair done and yeah, still not quite right, but still, is what it is, I guess. So what have you guys been up to today? Have you all been getting excited, saving up your pennies for Black Friday? Or have you already got everything that you needed already and you don't want to buy anything new? I don't believe that for a minute. I think all of you probably want to do an upgrade or build it at some point or other, which is probably why you're watching this channel. So let's say a quick hello to those of you that are in the room, and for some reason my laptop has frozen, or has the stream frozen, I can never tell. Oh well. Oh no, that says live, that's close enough, that'll do. Anyway, sorry about that. So yeah, good evening to Glenn, Tug and Thug Computing. Who else we got in the house? Skystalker's in the house. Skystalker's been in here for a long time. Click Tech Kev. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to you all. Or Happy Hanukkah or Happy Thanksgiving or whatever the heck is going on right now. There's lots of holidays. Anyway, I'm digressing. So tonight's video is, or stream, whichever way you want to look at it, is about budget builds. Now, a while back I discussed with you guys on here saying that a friend of mine, Glenn, was after a PC, and also I've got some bits and pieces knocking around which I really need to do something with. So I wanted to build something which is actually going to be quite flexible. So that is the reason why you can actually see a couple of extra components on the desk right now. So I'll quickly go through them. We've got the Athlon 200GE. So as we know, 2-core, 4-thread CPU. Runs about 3.4 gigahertz if I remember rightly. And sorry, 3.2 gigahertz. And you can generally overclock these on MSI boards, ASRock boards, up to about 3.7, 3.8 with very little problems. So that is a potential. The next one is the Ryzen 5 1400. So I get 4 cores, 8 threads. Again, similar sort of clock speeds, 3.2 gigahertz base clock, 3.4 gigahertz precision boosting. Again, these overclock really well. A lot of people have managed to get these up to sort of 3.8, 3.9, even 4 gigahertz in certain circumstances. So great little chip. Now price-wise at the moment, the Athlon 200GE, you can pick up around about the sort of 25, 30 pounds mark on the used market, brand new. There was some available from Novatech in the UK for about 35 pounds, 40 pounds, which is crazy value for money. Really, they're around about the sort of 50 pound mark. We have got the 3000G coming out soon, which is going to be the kind of replacement for this. So these will be getting actually a little bit cheaper and probably will be limited availability. So do bear that in mind. The Ryzen 5, I picked this one up used for £50 on a Facebook marketplace, which I'm actually completely happy with. £50 is a fair price. People probably saying, oh, you can get a Ryzen 5 1600 for 65, 70 pounds, whatever. Yeah, you probably can, but ultimately this one was delivered to my door for the £50. I'm very happy with it. Kath's actually been using it in her machine for a long time doing editing, so we know it works fine, there's no problems at all. And it's got a retail box, so happy days. Next one up, motherboard to put this on. Now, again, this is a budget build. We're trying to save money wherever we can here. We're not looking for all-out performance, but what we are looking for is a steady, stable machine, which will do 1080p gaming, and we'll do word processing, all the kind of usual stuff that you use a PC for as well. So we've gone with the ASRock, the B450M HDV revision 4.0. Now this board, as you've probably seen the videos I've done about it before, it's actually a great little board for £50. You can't go too far wrong. It supports up to and including the latest and greatest of the Ryzen chips. The R9 3950 is actually compatible with this with a BIOS update. I can't imagine it running very good, and for a $750 CPU on a $50 board is probably not the best of ideas. So I would say with this board, temper your expectations. You're not spending a great deal of money on it. You're getting quite a few features on it, but obviously it's not going to be running the latest and greatest. So in and around the sort of Ryzen 5 area really is probably maximum. Some of the lower end 7s, like the 1700 maybe, you could probably run quite happily, but Ryzen 5 2600, those kind of area is ideally where you want to be looking at that kind of price point anyway. So that's the processing and the motherboard. So we're going to go either or either. I was unsure what to do. Again, if I make this into like just a generic kind of very, very modest gaming PC, which is essentially based like office use, that kind of stuff, then obviously I'll end up going with the GE, and the price will be adjusted accordingly. But if I want to sell it on like Facebook Marketplace as a gaming PC, I'll go with the Ryzen 5, and then we'll use that in combination with this, which is the MSI Armor Edition Radeon RX480, which these days you can pick these up for really good money, anywhere between sort of 70 to 100 pounds, depending where you shop and what quality it is and how good it is, whether it's been mined on. Most of the cards of this kind of era were from the kind of the peak of the mining craze. So if you are buying one of these, obviously buyer beware, potentially it could have been mined on. I pretty much know the entire history of this card, so it's not a problem for me. But if you are looking at one of these, buying used, just yeah, be careful. Having said that though, most mining cards have been pretty well looked after, and 9 times out of 10 they've been kept in like an air conditioned room or had fans blowing on them, so they've been at full load pretty much all the time, and then probably turned off and then just put back into a box. Whereas if you're buying it from a gaming person, chances are it's been overclocked, thrashed, turned on and off, gone through various cold and heat cycles through its life. Yeah, you never know quite what you're going to get. If you're not sure what you're going to get, or you want to make sure you know what you're going to get, obviously buy new, but that's going to put the price right up, and this is going to be a budget build. So that's the graphics card. We may well use that, but again, if we go with the 200GE, seems a little bit of overkill, but again, it is possible. I did run the 200GE with, I think it was the, I'm trying to think what card it was now. Maybe someone can tell me in the comments what I put it with. I cannot remember what I put it in with, but I think I put it with like a 7800, or was it the R9 290? Something crazy like that, but it works okay, did all right. Storage is a simple one. This is going to be taken care of with a Crucial, a BX drive. BX drives are the kind of the budget orientated versions of the MX drives. MX drives got onboard cache and are generally very good drives. These ones you generally can pick up very, very cheaply. Now, speaking of picking up drives very, very cheaply, did any of you pick up the deal on Amazon the other day? Now, there was a deal, which I actually thought mine got cancelled, but for some reason they turned up. So these were SSDs from TC Sunbow. Now, these were on Amazon for a ridiculous price. They were £14 for a 240 gig drive, £30 for a 480, and £60 for a terabyte drive, which is insane. You cannot buy a 1 terabyte SSD for £60 on Amazon or anywhere brand new. It just can't be done. And these drives are actually cache drives, again, like the MX series of the Crucial. Again, it's only SSD, so you're not going to get the full kind of NVMe speeds. You're looking at 530 watts read, 530 write and about 500 read on these, so they're not ultra fast, but £60 for a terabyte, that's kind of almost hard disk drive territory. Insane money. So we picked up a few of those. One of them's George's, one of them's mine, and one of them's Kath's. So we'll be doing some upgrades on that, but anyway, back to the original plan. So this is Crucial BX 250 gig, 240 gig, sorry. So that's going to be going in there. So solid state storage makes a lot of sense. I was umming and ahhing whether to put a mechanical drive in here, but what I thought actually would probably be the better idea is a removable USB caddy with like a Steam library and those kinds of things on. So if it needs to be transferred around for gaming purposes, you can do that. Or worst case scenario, you can actually take the drive out of the caddy, stick it in the computer. Mechanical drives, especially the 3.5-inch ones, are a little bit on the noisy side these days, and that's the last thing you want is a hard drive rattling around. So that is all that. RAM is going to be taken care of potentially two ways, depending on which way we go again. If we go with the 200GE, then I'll be going with this. This is 8 gigs. Ignore the writing on there. This is 8 gigs of 260, 60, 60, 60, 60, 60, 60, 6 memory. So this is pretty much as fast as you want to go with the Athlon processor anyway. And 8 gigs would be absolutely fine in that kind of business oriented PC if we do go down that route. But if we go the other route and go for the gaming style, then we'll be going with this. This is the V-Color Prism 2. 16 gigs of RAM split over two 8 gig sticks. This RAM is actually capable of running up to, I think it was 3600, if I remember rightly. I have to look on the box. Yeah, DDR4 3600. So the motherboard itself won't actually allow the RAM to go that fast anyway. I think it tops out about, well, actually saying that, it might just do 3.6 now with the BIOS update. Anyway, we'll find out when we do the build, but I thought I'll put that in there. This was very cheap, very cost effective. So again, for a gaming build, 16 gigs of RAM, it's going to be absolutely brilliant. Power supply wise, now the power supply is going to be something that people are going to either hate or throw pitchforks at the screen or do something like that. So this is the GameMax or GameMax, however, GameMax I think it is. Yeah, we'll say GameMax, that'll do. So GameMax, this is a bronze plus 80 watt power supply, 500 watts, again 500 watts for the 200G based system. It's going to be way, way over what it actually needs. Even with, if we go with the great gaming version, with the Ryzen 5 1400 and the RX480, again still, that maxes out, I think, what's that, 65 watt part. I'm not too sure off the top of my head, I think it's about 150 watt part. So we're about 200, say 300 watts all in, realistically. So 500 watts, we're way below the kind of 80 plus rating, so should be absolutely fine. Case wise, I haven't got on the desk at the moment because there isn't a great deal of room. We're going to be using the, what was it, the Sahara P10 Sync, which I did a review on ages ago, which you can check out up here if you're watching this in the repeat. But for now, I think it's a matter of, I'll look at the questions and comments, see what's going on, and see what the opinion is. Am I going to go with the 200GE, go bargain basement, or are we going to go with the Ryzen 5 1400 and go for the slightly more higher end gaming PC? Either way, 720p gaming, 1080p gaming, what do you reckon? Let me know in the comments. Let's have a look. So let's see who our participants are tonight. So we've got Captain Meets Adventures, good evening to you. Man of crazy, crazy videos. Clicked at UK, Glenn, Kath's in the house. Hi Kath. Hi. And we've got Aletta and Richard and Sky. Happy days. And for those of you that haven't registered or haven't subscribed or anything, make sure you do. Click on the subscribe button and do me a favour while you're at it, just click on the like button. It doesn't cost you anything and it certainly helps the channel, apparently. Allegedly. We don't know. Good evening to you all. So Skystalker says, I purchased two 120GB SSDs for 19 bucks at the local store last week. That is insane for that 1TB drive. Yeah, totally. It was an Amazon one-day deal and yeah. George actually ordered another one. We're still waiting out for to turn up. Hasn't done as of yet. But hey ho. Aletta gave it a like, but nowhere to share. Never mind. No worries. That's all good. Skystalker. What's? What, we missed something?
Yes, I have an angle that is rather interesting.
All right. So Skystalker. So sorry, I have an angle that is rather interesting. Apparently, the 3950X is volted less than the 3900X. I've been undervolting my 3900X by more than 0.15 volts, much cooler and runs faster. Now I suppose that is, yeah, that is probably because the voltage was a little bit on the high side and it was probably thermally throttling because of the limitations of the chip. So by undervolting it, much like with the actually the RX cards, the RX480s and 580s, undervolting them, actually they gave better performance because they could run clock higher before the thermal limitations of the chip started kicking in. So happy days. And actually today, funnily enough, I've been doing some, making some videos for release in the week coming, and has anyone noticed anything different behind me yet? Anything come to mind, and no flashing RGB anymore. So, done the build in the Pure Base 500 from Be Quiet, and for the observant of you amongst, you may notice inside we've got the Arctic Cooling Liquid Freezer 240 in there, which just installed. I did do the build actually with the Cooler Master cooler, the all-in-one. I had the cheapy one, but for some reason it was just making some really weird noises. So unfortunately I boxed that one up, and that one's going to be shipping its way back to our good old friends at Amazon, which is a shame. But anyway, so that is pretty much the finalised system there. But I think my motherboard has bit the big one. It still does some odd crashes. I was hoping it was because there was too many fans connected on a couple of headers, but now I've reduced the fan count massively. There's basically one plug for the entire AIO. There's 2 fans at the front, 1 in the rear. That is it, and I'm still getting a few issues with it. So looks like the motherboard has gone. But never mind. Hey ho. Yeah, something else to unbox. So ClickTech UK says the 1400. Glenn's saying the 1400. ClickTech says, I thought you'd turn the RGB off. No, it is an entirely different case. Let's just saying the X570 boards ramp up the CPU voltage to insane levels, over 1.5. Now, I'm actually finding out in my X370, the chip in there is only a 1700X. Excuse me. And my other computer has got a Ryzen 5 3600, which I've been testing today. And for some reason, that one's really badly underperforming by quite a margin. But it's still volting up to like 1.5, 1.51 volts. So I don't know what's going on there. Not very good. Captain Meets Adventure says, I can't believe Black Friday is around the corner again. It is, it's crept up on us again, hasn't it? Skystalker saying that that looks like a great build in the Be Quiet 500. He's got the 600, and I think he thinks I got the better deal. Yeah, I must admit, I think the 900 and 800s is the ones that I kind of paid some attention to in reviews, because there was a lot of reviewers that had them. Yeah, I'm not too sure about the 600. I'll have to take a look into that and see what it was all about. Captain Meets Adventure says, remembers talking about Black Friday last year. Where has 2019 gone? It's ridiculous. It's just like we've blinked and it's just disappeared. Jack Thomas has come up with a sensible question, which is a pretty good thing for a Saturday night where most people are normally out drinking. I have 3 RGB fans, but I don't have an RGB header. Any suggestions? Best thing to do if you haven't got a header is you can buy... Well, actually, if you've already got RGB fans, are you planning on adding any RGB strips? It's probably the first question. If you are thinking of doing that, then there was a company called Tincam. I'll find some links, I'll put them in the description. But basically they did a little controller box with a couple of LED strips, and you could hook it all up to that, and you can have spurs off of it and all that kind of stuff. Otherwise, it's just get an RGB hub, and then with a remote control you can control it all. There's various ways of doing it, depending if it's 12 volt RGB or 5 volt RGB, all that kind of stuff. Let's say, is the BIOS up to date? Yes, it is. It is. I am going to have to... I don't know what it is with these Asus boards at the moment. I've got 2 boards which are identical, the X370 Prime, and it doesn't seem to be running as it should do. So I'm tempted, because I need to replace that one anyway, because I think that one is dying, literally, it's hanging on for dear life. So because my boards are the same in both PCs, I can take the board out of that PC, my video editing PC, which has got the R5 3600 in, and I'm thinking about just getting an MSI kind of Tomahawk board, or maybe a Pro Carbon from the B450 range, stick that in there and see what happens, see if it improves performance. I'm not too sure if I want to spend a lot of money on an X570 at the moment, especially when the B550s are probably going to be landing sometime after Christmas, which would be nice to go down that route if possible. Saving money as I do. So let's see. Richard's saying, yeah, undervolt it, and yeah, undervolting seems to be the way ahead. Okay. Right, I think I'm going to go with the 1500, I think. I think that's the sensible way to go, isn't it? So let's clear away some of this stuff and we'll start building this. Sorry?
Didn't want to say 14.
Yeah, so I'm doing the 14.
You said 15.
Did I? Oh, sorry. I said the wrong thing. It happens. I apologise. Right, so the GE is going to go, and that can go as well. Actually, that was a good deal I picked up off our Discord server. For those of you that are interested, you can pop over to our Discord server and you can get some good deals and bargains. And there's always bargains being posted pretty much all day long. It's pretty insane. One of our members, Seam at Night, and also Glenn, and I'm probably missing someone else's name as well, but British Noob as well, posting like crazy deals all day long. It's ridiculous. I need a bigger wallet. 4 more hours in the day. Right, yeah, if you want to join the Discord, if you click on the link in the video description, you can go in there. And one thing to do if you are wanting to join is there is a process you've got to go through. So when you go to the server, first of all, you'll see the rules section, the affiliate section, and I think there's like a welcome screen as well. So what you're going to need to do is you're going to have to go into the rules section and you've got to type in !OK dude, and then press enter. And then that means you've agreed to the terms and conditions of the site. So then you can get full access to the rest of the group. And you can ask any crazy questions about your AirPods, your RGB, your motherboards, all that kind of stuff. And sorry. Can't beat that, you know, really can't. Actually, this one smells more burnt than new. That's probably not great. Anyway. Let's do this. Right, so we're going to be using the stock AMD cooler. I was considering putting something a bit fancy in there, but to be honest with you, it's a budget machine. What is the point? Really, what is the point? So we're going to need to remove these tags, or whatever they're called. And hopefully this should be a pretty easy build. Now, for those of you that have already noticed, the P10 Sync is a full-size ATX case. Not a micro ATX, and this is a micro ATX board. Now there is actually a good reason for that, and that is because basically trying to save money. So the ATX equivalent of this board was an extra 10 to 15 pounds, which to be honest with you, I think 10 to 15 pounds at this price point, being the specs would be almost identical. It's better to spend the money on maybe a slightly better graphics card, a slightly faster CPU, obviously like in this case between the 200 GE or the R5 1400, you get a massive jump in performance for kind of like 15–20 pounds. So a little bit of a saving here can give you a massive boost elsewhere. What do you think? Does that make sense? So anyway, let's get this on. Now I'm going to be actually really interested to see what kind of games this will handle, because I don't think I've actually ever had a PC set up with this combination and actually just for gaming really. It's always been for kind of productivity or something. So I kind of know what the Ryzen, what the RX480 can do, but I'm not too sure of this combination. So things like CSGO and obviously Rocket League, stuff like that, it's going to be an absolute piece of cake. It's going to be no problem whatsoever. But it'd be interesting to see what things like Battlefield and all that, how they go with it. I think Battlefield's going to be quite an interesting one. Oh, come on. Skystalker says, lol, I smell my motherboards too. You got to. New components have got to be sniffed. It's not to be sniffed. Actually, is this the right CPU? I better make sure I actually put the right one in here. I can't see what that says. Ryzen 5 1400, yeah, we're all good. So time to trigger some people. Although saying that, I think I'm almost empty. Oh, that's a bit much actually. I couldn't see what was coming out. Let's see if I can suck some of that back up. Oh yes. That is a result there, my friends. We've managed to actually use some suction and get some paste back in the tube. So we're using MX4 because, well, why not? Saying that, I have got this other stuff which I've had for donkey's years. I bought this about 10 years ago, HY510. Got it on eBay for about £3 for a massive syringe full of the stuff. And yeah, it's pretty horrible. I don't even know why I keep it actually. It's probably just more for emergency purposes. Anyway, moving on. So let's put it around. Let's put the AMD logo on that side. I think this time round. I do generally dislike these coolers. They're not great. And they do make all sorts of weird groaning noises. A bit like me when I get up out of bed in the morning. Glenn says, I have some of the HY stuff too. It is conductive, by the way. Crap. Right, I might chuck that stuff away then. Am I missing anything? Oh, Glenn says, nice RAM. Oh no, that's Alessa's comment. Alessa's bought 16 gigs of CL16 3600 G-Skill Trident Z Neo last night. Should be there Tuesday. Hopefully you bought it on Amazon and used our affiliate links. Am I joking? But it's good. Right, so there's our cooler on. That's happy days. And actually, I've got a sneaking suspicion that that cooling, that's going to obscure the bloody RAM. I do apologise for the profanities. Let's have a look. Now this RAM is pretty special. The Prism stuff. It is pretty insane. Now this board actually has no control whatsoever for RGB. So this is going to be really interesting because the case itself has got some RGB on it. But yeah, I don't think I'm going to be able to control it. And I don't think that's going to physically fit. Nope. Good job. Why did AMD not design this with the AMD logo at the top? Surely that would have made more sense. Design a great chip, a great family of processors, and they can't even put a fan on the right way. But there is a reason for that, and it's because they shipped out the design to our good friends Cooler Master. And Cooler Master do tend to struggle with sometimes the simplest of things. I suppose really I should put a little bit more paste on there because that hasn't actually given too bad a coverage. So I could have probably got away with a little bit more last time. So relatively good covering. Put a little daub in the middle. And that'll fill in any gaps that we left. This is almost running out actually. I have to purchase some more. Or do I go thermal pads? I am tempted to go with the thermal pad route. Although saying that, it's alright if you've only got one PC or a couple of PCs or you're changing stuff on just one PC, but if you build in quite a few PCs, having a thermal pad in each one is actually going to work out to be pretty darn expensive. Alexa says, someday I should mount the box cooler just to see what it's like. Simon says, use your tweezers, Mike. Tweezers are at flame. No, get out of the box. That is an engineer's case, not a bed for cats.
Oh, he took notice.
He actually took notice. That cat is actually becoming quite intelligent. Not quite dog level intelligence yet, but getting there. Right.
Simmons said is the paste a must.
Who said that? Stephen Simmons, is the paste a must? It's not a must. You can use alternative methods. Oh, and by the way, good evening and thanks for joining us. The paste itself isn't a must if you're using something else. So you can use graphite pads or graphene-based pads, carbon pads, whatever, those kinds of things. But if you haven't got access to that, and you're just installing a CPU for the first time, and your cooler hasn't got paste on, then definitely you should be applying some paste. You have to have some to, well, you don't have to have some. Most processors now, modern day, will actually kind of not work properly or to the best of their ability. If you don't use paste, they'll just get very hot very quickly and they won't be able to kind of cool down very well. So you'll get what they call thermal throttling, which isn't great. I don't think you would actually damage a processor by not using paste as long as the cooler was attached firmly, but it wouldn't be good for it. In the old days, if you did it and you didn't use paste at all, most processors wouldn't throttle down and they just keep on going until they got to a ridiculous temperature, and then it would cut out and that would be it, game over. But I think with most modern CPUs these days, in fact actually that might be an interesting test to do, to try a processor on a board without any paste and to see what actually happens. Because I don't think anyone's actually done that recently. Yeah, I might have to do that. Anyway, right. Hopefully that answers your question.
Test no paste on the 200GE.
Test no paste on the 200GE. That does sound like a good plan. It's a bit of a waste of a processor, which I don't really condone doing.
What if it doesn't damage it?
But yeah, if it doesn't damage it, then it's no harm, no foul, as they say. So yeah, that's yeah, we might do that. We might do that. And I suppose at least if it does damage the processor, it's a good way of somebody getting an upgrade, because it will have to be replaced somewhere along the line. Oopsie. Right, so we're done motherboard wise. Now, when you put your stock cooler on, or any cooler for that matter, if you take out your clamps and screws, always a good idea, stick them back in the motherboard box, bag rather, and then stick them in your motherboard box. So should you need to change it or upgrade it or even send it back as an RMA if it's faulty, which God forbid it's not going to be faulty. But yeah, I think we're pretty good. Yeah, keep hold of your bits just in case you need to send anything back. So we haven't got an M.2 drive on here. Yeah. Sorry, what you...
Stevenson's reply.
Oh right, Stephen's reply. Waiting for a great... I'm watching with great interest. Thinking about first ever build for Christmas.
I think that means
I've been interested in computers but never of building one. Well, always a good place to start, and if you need any help or advice, there's loads of people on here which you can watch videos of, or you can join us on our Discord server if you've got any questions. People like Seamanite and Glenn, Noob, ClickTech Kev, all regulars on the server, so if you've got any questions you can either ask them or you can ask me. Entirely up to you, we can walk you through the build. We'd be more than happy to. See, that looks weird, doesn't it, that RAM? To me personally, I think they've actually done a daft thing with that, because the mirror finish is really good, but that pastel coloured stuff on the top really doesn't do it a great deal of justice, I don't think. What do you think? I know when I reviewed it I was kind of like okay about it, but the more I look at it, the more I dislike it. And I don't think I can change it, but I really would like to. Or better still, just sell it. Right, let's get a case ready, because I think we are pretty much done motherboard wise, so we'll stick that somewhere safe for now. We'll get our IO shield out because we're going to be needing that pretty soon. There's not a lot of room here, so do bear with me. So this is the case. This is the Sahara P10 Sync. And let's take this side panel off so you don't see the any reflecto porn of calf. Just gets upset about that kind of thing. So this is the P10 Sync. This is a pretty cost-effective ATX case. Got this solid glass side panel. It was kind of either this or go for one of those RGB ones from eBuyer, or maybe even another Colink. The Colink Stronghold was always a really good case, but they seem to have gone up quite a bit in price. So yeah, I was kind of umming and ahhing what to do, and this is actually quite a nice case. And if we're going to be trying to sell this PC to kind of like the gamery side of the market, then the RGB, the looks, all that kind of stuff, it's going to be really useful, and hopefully a gamer will like it. Now actually this build is going to serve two purposes as well, because what I'm going to do is, I was speaking to some people about the B450 board, and we were kind of questioning whether or not, or what the viability is of using it with things like the Ryzen 5 3600 and chips of that kind of nature, higher end chips. Now obviously it says it's supported in the in the motherboard BIOS and all that kind of stuff, and in the paperwork it all says, yeah, it's going to be fine. But is it? I personally don't think it is going to be, because otherwise why would you buy a more expensive motherboard? There's no real reason for it. So there must be some limitations actually in it, otherwise they wouldn't do it, because it just makes no sense. So I'm going to take my Ryzen 5 out and I'm going to stick it in this board, and then going to run some tests and do it back to back against possibly the B450 Tomahawk if I can pick one up, and actually see what difference it makes going from a kind of like a £100 board against a £50 board, and if the difference is actually tangible, which again I don't think it's going to be. I'd be surprised. Sumanite says the R5 3600 is actually a 65 watt part, like the 1400. It is, yes.
Stephen Simmons said, will you be putting a components list in the description? Links would be great too.
To Stephen, Kath's just read out your comment because I'm struggling to see the screen now. But yeah, we'll when the video's put live or when it finishes being processed by YouTube, we'll put a link to pretty much everything that we've used in this in the video description, so you can check out the bits for yourself and see what prices are like. Some bits I would say probably are not ideal to be buying if you're buying new. If you're buying new, I'd probably go slightly different on some of it. This is kind of like a PC, which is some new, some old, some used, some borrowed, some blue, sort of thing, all that kind of gear. So this is, well, it depends on what budget you're looking at, really.
Is that the £300 build?
Kind of, yeah. This is aimed around sort of the £300 build, but we've kind of gone over a bit on the build because we've upgraded the graphics card, which was never part of that £300 build. And we've updated the processor as well, which has added a little bit more to it. So probably at retail prices, this is probably going to be around about the 450 mark, I would think. I'm going to need to go through and do my figures again, but I think it's going to be somewhere around that kind of mark. But yeah, we'll put some links in. And again, if you need any help or advice, like me trying to get this screw out, no, we'll give up on that one. That one's stuck. So this is one of the downsides of a cheap case. When the motherboard standoffs or the pillars, these little brass things, when they go in and they don't want to come back out again. I don't think it's because I actually glued them in, because I don't think I'd have been that daft. But having said that, you never know. And the thing with micro ATX boards is to look to see where the holes line up. So we'll put this in as a test fit. And this is on the upper of the two micro ATX forms. That's the thing, micro ATX, there's actually quite a few different sizes of micro ATX, which are all called micro ATX, even though they essentially are completely different. This is probably the smallest of the micro ATXs, so this is the, I think, I need a tape measure. This is the, yeah, the 9 inch, I was going to say 9 inches, so this is the the 8 by 9 board. Quite a lot of these tend to be 8 by 10, or 9 by 10, that kind of thing, so slightly larger, but this is actually one of the smaller of the micro ATX builds. So let's see if we can get this to stick in there without falling out, because that's always quite embarrassing. I do like the way motherboards are headed design-wise. This kind of black and white, almost camo print, quite nice. I really should put this down on the deck. So this case is probably, again, like I said, it's pretty much overkill for this kind of spec. Luckily, when we've got the graphics card in there, it's going to clear up a lot of the room which is going to be left over inside, because there is going to be a little bit of a gap at the bottom for wires and stuff, so which isn't perfect. I was considering putting this into the Silverstone, the RL08 case, the upside down micro ATX. But being that that case is probably, well, I think it's about £120 worth, it just seems like putting a budget build in it just doesn't make any sense at all. And obviously, if you're trying to sell a PC, if you go for a really flashy, expensive case, but then the components inside don't match up with what's on the outside, you're going to struggle to sell it. Now, you might be able to sort of con someone into buying it, thinking they bought a really high-end PC when it looks really nice on the outside, but again, that's it's not particularly ethical, and I certainly wouldn't want to go down that route. I'd rather sell something which is kind of like an honest PC. It is what it is, you know. Oh, I did that one already. I really do need to go to Specsavers. This is the problem I remember with this case now, is trying to get the screws into the top section, because the motherboard actually rests pretty much straight up against the top. So actually getting the screws into the motherboard is a real ball ache. And I think that is, oh, stood on my mic. Mic's on the mic. That's all right, bit of pressure on there, that'll stay in. Now, am I going to be able to get to the last screw? If I could even see it. Oh, yes. No, right. I don't want to over tighten the screws just in case you thread anything. And always make sure after that you've got the right amount of screws in. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We've only got 6 holes, so we're all good. So that is the case so far. Now, actually, if I put on the other camera, what's the other camera on? Number 4. This might work. So there you go, you can see, got lots of fans all in one area. Now, we haven't got any cooling up front. Reason being is because A, it's not particularly well filtered, and the fans are RGB, so I kind of wanted those to be on the top where they're actually visible. So anyway, you get the idea, but that board does look a little bit out of place there, doesn't it? And I don't know whether we're going to get the cables to go up through far enough. But anyway, we'll work with it. We'll see what we can do. That's part of the fun, is working out what you've done and how you can rectify it. So next thing to do is we'll do the I/O panel next, the I/O connectors, all that stuff. You talk amongst yourselves while I'm just dropping stuff on the floor. All right, yes. Yeah, a ball ache is, where do you even start with ball ache? Ball ache is something that probably those of you that have been to college would understand. So when you guys are in the shower and you guys next to you and he craftily just flicks your nuts and you get that dull ache after, like, oh dear God, that's a ball ache. And that is what sometimes happens when you're building a PC. You get that dull ache because you just know that you've done something wrong or you've dropped a screw. I did that earlier. I was building that PC and I dropped a screw and it went through the grille mesh down into the power supply basement. And I was very, very upset with myself. And I did call myself various names. But it's okay. We're over it now. And I'm just looking at this wheel. I've got a lot of cables down here. I forgot how many cables were actually inside this thing. Oh, this is not going to be good. So again, because we're using a particularly small micro ATX case, we've actually got even further for the cables to run than what we would normally. So I'm going to have to rewire some. Flame, that's an empty box, you fool. We can't jump on an empty box because you fall through it. Cats are pretty dumb. They should have a sixth sense. Right, where am I going to run that through? Oh, actually, oh no, damn it. I wonder if I could run that behind the motherboard. That would have been a good to start with, actually. Oh, this is going to be a horrendous case to build in for this particular setup. I can feel it already. And it's because you always want to get the cables to look really nice. At least I do. I don't know about what you guys think. I appreciate good cable management. And if I run this, well, I'll show you. If I run this from here up to here, that ain't gonna look pretty, is it?
They can't really see.
And you probably can't really see that particularly well. So, say there's not a lot of room there. If there was extra holes here to put the cables through, it would be absolutely fine. Or if the motherboard went to the bottom, again, it would be fine. But that is not ideal right there. So I could run the cables behind the motherboard. Now where's the USB header? Oh, actually the USB header is there. So that is a saving grace. So we can actually take that straight in through the side. Through there. Through the CPU cutout of all places. But as long as it gets to where it needs to be, that's all good. So we'll stick that in there. So yeah, not particularly pretty, but it does the job. Again, we're gonna have the same problem when it comes to the Sata cables in a minute. So Sata cables are there, so they're gonna have to stretch kind of all the way out over here. But fortunately, we're gonna have a graphics card somewhere along there, so it might not be too bad. I'm just hoping that, I was hoping that the side window is gonna be quite a dark tint to hide all these various nasties, but I don't think it is. I think it's quite light. So again, this is a bit jank. That's a technical word for not very good. Now, can I run that behind there? Right, where's our I/O panel? So actually that is there as well, so maybe we can run that down there. Yeah, I would definitely not recommend this this case to anybody who's going for micro ATX, because it is going to look horrible. I swear doing these connectors was a lot easier when I was younger, because I could actually see what they were. But if you're ever not sure, there's a group of 8 connectors and it runs from the top. So in the top left, or pin number 1, you've got power LED positive. Next to that is power LED negative. Next to that is your power switch connectors, and you can run that either way you want. It basically just bridges the gap, so whichever way you put it on is fine, plus or minus, whatever. Underneath that, directly on the left-hand side, underneath the power LED, you've got the hard drive LED, so positive first, then the negative, always the same, positives on the outside. And then next to that, you've got the reset switch, which again works in the same way as the power switch, so it basically just bridges the connection, which is often why sometimes if you're trying to diagnose a PC which is randomly shutting off or won't turn on, it's always a good idea to disconnect the reset switch and the power switch to see if one of them might be stuck, because if they're stuck in the bridged mode, they're only designed to have a brief amount of current go through them. So if the system detects there's current going through it all the time, it won't boot or it will shut down or whatever. So that's always a top tip if you're trying to diagnose a PC shutting down or not turning on. Disconnect those, and you can actually just use a screwdriver or some metal object to bridge out the contacts between the plus and the minus for the power switch, or the reset switch for that matter. And I've actually seen in the past people have changed pretty much everything inside their PC, and eventually got to the realization that it was actually the case power button that was causing the problem after many hundreds of pounds later.
Glenn says slacken the bottom motherboard screws and put cables for the bottom behind the board.
Yeah, that's Glenn saying that I should loosen off the screws and run the cables down underneath, which is a very, very good idea. But I think, actually, saying that now, I don't think we've got any more to connect. We've got our HD audio, which is going to be over this far side, which is going to be slightly more problematic. So yeah, what we'll probably do is loosen off the screw for the motherboard, and we'll run the cable behind and through into the back of there, because I don't think... If I had a letter's bank balance, I'd have no trouble. I'll have a huge case and a little manservant to build the thing for me. That would be the way forward.
Stevenson, for his benefit, what cables are you connecting for the fans?
For the fans, I'm actually not going to be connecting anything for the fans actually. The cables for the fans I'll go to when I spin it around in a minute. We do some cable management. But the nice thing with the P10 Sync is it's actually got its own built-in controller, which you can use a remote control with. And where the hell did that go? I don't know. The fan itself, they plug into a controller and then you can control everything from remote control. So it's a little bit different from most PC setups. I got a sneaking suspicion I'm going to have to take all this apart at some point and redo all this cabling. And also try and find that screw.
Stephen Mike says you're no brownie.
No. Which is potentially a good thing. Oh, didn't lose that one. Right, so we pull the motherboard forward slightly. We should be able to route this cable down the back. Actually, make sure it's the right cable before I push it all the way down there. Yeah, HD audio. And there we go. So now we've got the HD audio cable, which I don't know if you can see, but this one normally lives in this corner. So we're going to tuck that in over there. And we'll push the cable back up a little bit. And the thing to be careful of, if you're ever putting wires behind a motherboard where they're not really meant to go, is to watch out that you don't actually snag them on anything, because on the back of the board there are literally thousands of little contact areas where there's solder, and if you get one of these bits of solder accidentally pressed through one of these cables, if it's one that's carrying any sort of positive current, or even earth for that matter, you could send a current to earth and short the system out. So it's not always advisable to do this, but in some cases, no pun intended, is the best way forward. So I think that's pretty much everything we need there. So we've got the TPM connector, we've got a fan header which we don't need to connect. We've got a fan header at the top. Oh, actually that's the point, there is a fan header there that we need to connect for... Actually no, we won't worry about PWM, we'll do the fan control purely from the remote control. That is going to be a lot easier. I don't really want to turn this case around now because it just looks awful. Right, I'm going to do it. I'm going to turn it around anyway. There you go. So that is the mess we've got behind here. This is horrendous. But fortunately, most of this is actually for the fans that are built in. So if we take some of the wires away for the stuff that's built in, so we've got this one, and this one. And that is for our other connector. So we actually, most of this is okay. It's manageable. We can get rid of a lot of this just by tidying it up. So what do we need? So we need, this is the connector which would normally in this case goes to the motherboard. So this would be for your RGB hookup, so your 5-volt RGB hookup and also your 4-pin PWM. So that would generally go to the motherboard, but because the motherboard doesn't have those features, we're going to omit that from this build. Which actually is another quite nice thing about the P10 Sync, is you don't have to have an expensive motherboard to control your RGB. You can do it all from the remote control. Which actually, where did I put the remote control? Oh, it's in the box down there. I've got it. So we don't need that one. We need this one. This is our power. Unfortunately, it's Molex power. But in some respects, actually having Molex to power up your RGB is sometimes a good thing, because you can pretty much guarantee there's not going to be anything else on your PC which is going to be powered by Molex. So at least you know that your lighting system is all on one separate circuit. So should there be any problems with it, it's unlikely to interfere with anything else that's going on inside the PC. So, it's not the easiest of cases cable management wise. And what is that one there? That's another fan, so we can just disconnect that. run that back round. Loosen that off. I knew I should have got a pre-build. So that cable there is purely for the RGB, which is on the front. So we'll take a little look at that a little bit later. Now again, this cable here now, we can pretty much just disconnect because we're not going to be using that. So that is the hookup for the motherboard, like I said, so we can stick that in the box. So if the next user of this, or the next owner of it, actually does want to make use of that connection, it's there and they can still use it. So now we can just use a bit of Velcro and we can start bunching up some of these wires. Now again, because this isn't really a show PC as such, you don't have to be too concerned about all this stuff, as long as it's relatively well managed and not in the way of anything, which, to be honest with you, there's not really a great deal in here that it can actually get in the way of. Again, you could go crazy with cable management on this, or spend a long time on it, but we're not doing that. I might do after the stream is finished, but I'm not going to do it now. So that's going to be out of the way. That's all right. I can live with that. I'm happy with that. So that's going to tuck in behind there. It's certainly neater than what it was before. We've got access to cables if we need to, and we're not in the way of anything around here. So yeah, actually, surprisingly, that hasn't turned out too bad at all. What do you think? I'm going to have a quick drink of my cup of tea. And I'll quickly spin this round so you can have a look inside and see what you think. But what do you think? Actually, it's pretty good. Sorry, Kath, can you pass my cup of tea over?
Which one?
Anyone that's got a fluid in, thanks. Now, I don't know why, but it looks like my stream is currently at 480p. That's odd. Okay. Yeah. So, what do you think so far? Let me know in the comments. Will I have a quick slurp? Oh, I left the tea bag in that one. I've been tea bagged. That is slating the case already. I should have known. Well, actually, this isn't live. That's live. Okay. Right, that's me teed up. So what do you reckon? It's not bad, is it? It's actually quite neat. And there's a screw in here somewhere. Where's the screw gone? Ah. Where's that thing gone? Got it. Come here, you little sucker. Oh, sorry about that. So put that back in. Right, so that's that connected. So next thing to do is all the other stuff around the back. So you've got the power supply. We've also got the graphics card which needs to put in. Actually, we might as well do that. Let's put a graphics card while we're around this way. And this graphics card, unfortunately, as it's getting old, it's like some of us older gentlemen, and it's got a bit of sag. And I wouldn't say it's got a little bit of sag, it's got a lot of sag. It is one saggy mofo, it really is. Unfortunately, this case doesn't provide any good alternatives or options for propping up your graphics card, so what I might have to do is use a 3D printed bracket and in a black colour or something, to actually use it to support the graphics card, because it has got quite a bit of sag on it, which you know for a fact if you list it on eBay or Facebook or any of those kinds of places, immediately someone is going to say it's broken, it's all saggy or whatever, and I just can't put myself through that. I really can't. So there's the graphics card. Quite a nice little specimen actually. This is the MSI RX480 Armor Edition, 8 gig. Actually not a bad card, and when we first got it, well I say when we first got it, I think we bought it for George for his birthday many moons ago. So it's well, he hasn't looked after it because he's been vaping like a lunatic up in his bedroom for the last 3 years, so yeah, it's not been that well looked after, but it works and I've used it and yeah, I'm happy with it. But unfortunately, like I said, it has got a severe amount of sag. What the hell is that? I don't know. I think George might have heard.
A letter once used a toy Darth Vader to prop up her GPU. He looked cool.
Yeah, oh, where's my stick?
I don't know.
I used to have the stick.
Is he behind you somewhere? He used to be.
Now, where is the stick? I think I threw him away out of disgust for the BBC. Maybe not. We'll have a look.
Did you?
Yeah. Oh, sorry, headphone users. This is not easy to do.
He says it wasn't him. He's angry.
Right, that's the graphics card in. So, well, actually, at this point now, it's probably a good idea to put the Sata cables in while I can actually still just about reach them. Now, yes, obviously this is a budget build, so we are going to be going with Sata cables. We're not going with NVMe. Unless it's offended by what we're SATA or SSD. Right, let's use the right-angled one because the hard drive is going to be behind there, so it's going to be nice to tuck that around. So Sata cable just goes into the Sata connector. And unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to really show you this very easily because I should have actually connected this before I put the graphics card in, but, well, first world problems. Have to see if I can get to that. I don't want to take the graphics card out. No. Oh, actually, I think that's in. Said the vicar. Ow, instant karma. No, it couldn't have been in because it come out too easily. Double entendres are just flying today.
Flick Tech says he hates it when you have to screw up funny angles. And C. McKnight said he highly doubts that's true, as beggars can't be choosers.
Oh, you kids. Oh, this is not going well. Oh, that's in. Yeah, did you hear that? Nice little click. That is the sign of success right there, people. So now we can run the cable out. Now, this actually behind there is okay because the graphics card is going to hide up some of the sins which are going on there. So I don't know if you can see it. So the Sata cable has come out there and is being covered up by the tail end of the graphics card. Is it sagging? Can you see it sagging from your point of view? Doesn't look, does need a little bit of a lift, doesn't it? It's not too bad actually in that case, though. There, it's perfect now. Oh no, I didn't, I went the wrong way. Is that better? Yeah, see, it's level now. That's all it needed. It just needed some new feet on the front and it would have been absolutely perfect. Oh dear, it's been a long day, people. It really has. Right, so the graphics card, the SATA drive. So we've got options here. We can put it in the mounting bays at the bottom. There's some racks there, which are quite nice. But I think what he's going downhill quickly. What I think I might do is I might put it in this section here, if I can actually remember how to take these drives out, which I think is from there. So I'm going to just stick it on this back section. So that's how they come out. Weirdly, these have got screw access on the side and on the front. It's different.
See McKnight's with extra FPS as gravity helps.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. Actually, that snaps into place already there. I don't need to put any screws in. Oh, that is a bit janky though, isn't it? Not putting screws in. Especially seeing there's like, oh, I've just found one. Right, that's all we need. We don't need to go overboard on this. So one screw just to hold it in place. And yeah, the job's a good one. Oh, actually, that's why it's there, isn't it? So if you've got that there, is that going to fit? Yeah, that's putting a bit of strain on that cable there. So we'll go back to the original theory, and I'm actually going to put it in the drive bay. Or do I just change the cable? I suppose I could just change the cable.
Alexa says it's almost as much fun as the Verge video.
The Verge video. This is the Verge part 2. This is what the Verge guy would have done if he'd have had the skills and the tweezers to do it. Right, so we'll get back to the other SATA cable. He wants what? She's not here. Right, here we go. Now, why did that SATA cable go much easier that time? It's always easier second time round, isn't it? Bloody things. Right, so that is that connected there. So we're all good there. Oh, that Verge video still does give me the heebie-jeebies, it really does. That was so much fun. I do actually, yeah, let's have some pinhole glasses.
That's great.
I just thought I'd put that drive in upside down now. Ooh, nearly dropped it. Again. Yeah, oh, yeah, that'd be double trouble, wouldn't it? Drop it. Oh, some dust. That's cat fur. So, again, cable management in this bit is not going to be great. Now, these are pinhole glasses. These are supposed to make your eyesight better. So, ooh, they're kind of weird. Yeah, the cable management actually does look a lot better with these on. That's weird, because you're looking through tiny little holes everywhere, and you'd think you'd be straight into a sea. But it's actually made my bloody hell. I can see clearer through these than I can without.
I can see.
Hey?
I can see clearly now.
I actually can see clearly now the glasses are on. But I do look a complete and utter, what's it? Although certain parts of this, if you look at white surfaces, it looks bloody awful. But there, it looks, I can read the writing on there now. Cool. Anyway.
Live PC build featuring Stevie Blunder.
Stevie Blunder's live PC building. I just call. So I shouldn't do Stevie Wonder impressions.
Sky Stalker. These glasses.
Right. Now this is the fantastic Game Max power supply, 500 wattings.
White Ray Charles.
Oh dear. These glasses are pretty cool actually, they're pretty comfy as well. It may look like a complete and utter imbecile, but actually my eyesight is better already. I don't want to take them off. I really don't. It's not like it's the the middle of November. It's freezing cold outside and I'm indoors at night wearing shades. I can't see anything wrong with that. Oh dear. Now this actually, in hindsight, which is probably
Right, from mission for God.
yeah, I am. Ding, ding. Oh, that's why I never used this power supply before in this case, because you can't fit the wires in.
That's right, it's fine with this one.
Because the drive cage is going to be right in the way. That is majorly upsetting. Did they put any screws in here? Yeah. Oh. Don't drop any screws because I'm never going to find them with these glasses on. It's like being in a crystal maze or something. That's not going to fit. I have really done, I've gone full verge on this one, guys. I really have. Because there is no way that is fitting in there. I don't think. That is going to be tight. Like, tight. Like, what's his name? Tito on not Walking Dead, Breaking Bad. Tight, 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 tight. Oh. Where's my tweezers gone? You see my tweezers? Ah, there they are. Otherwise known as cable snips or cutters. Side cutters, possibly.
My tweezers.
Oh, there's a lot of cables right now. So this is the kind of thing that normally happens when you're relatively inexperienced. And you grab parts and you go, oh yeah, I'll do that, I'll put that in, that'll be good, we'll do that, do that, do that, do that. And then you go to put it all together and you're like, ah, right, got it. Now unfortunately, there's not really a lot I can do right now because this is the only power supply I got spare, which I would deem worthy enough of actually being in this build. So what I'm gonna have to do is do some careful cable management and try and get this power supply in. So let's see, what cables do we actually need on the outside so we can make a little bit of room. So that is our CPU connector, so that's definitely an outside. That is the main 24 pin, so that's definitely an outside. A Molex, we'll have that on the outside. That is going to be our CPU, no, that's our PCI Express, so that's definitely on the outside. SATA. So actually pretty much all of that can go on the outside, I think, apart from that one. So we might be alright. We could be okay. I think I actually remember now when I reviewed this case, I said that there wasn't a lot of cable management room underneath because of the site where the drive bays were, and if the drive bays were removable or movable for that matter, it would make life a lot easier. Now bear in mind, if you're comparing this video to the Verge video, the Verge did spend, I think, did they spend like $2,000, Kath, can you remember? Someone's gonna have to let me know in the comments. I'm sure they said that you could build a great PC for like $1,000, but they were gonna spend $2,000 because, well, why not? And as we found out later, we knew why not.
Does the drive cage unscrew?
No, unfortunately the drive cage actually, I will double check, but I'm pretty sure I can see rivets under there, so I'm pretty sure it's riveted in place. Yeah, pop rivets, unfortunately. Now I suppose I could get a drill out and just drill it out, but I don't think that's a good idea. Ah, Ninja's in the house.
If only Mike had a full modular PSU.
If only I had a full...
Who said that comment?
I don't know, probably ClickTech?
Later.
Right, yeah. If only Mike has an 80 plus gold Silverstone PSU. Like this one I prepared earlier. That is certainly not going in there. I do not want to triple the value of the PC by putting in a decent power supply of that caliber. So, right.
Later has an extra 750 watt, 80 gold in a junk box.
Send over your power supply, Letta. I'll put it to good use. Now, why on earth would you shrink wrap that there? Especially when you got all this extra flex in there, which you could have just made that a bit longer.
Put your gas on it, definitely.
Yeah. Oh, this is the bit where you... Oh man. Yeah, this bit is in... This is sketchy now because where the fans are in the case is right in that top corner, which is where the actual this connection plug's got to go. So it's super, super difficult to get to. But that's right, we know a way around it. And those are actually famous words of mine. Concentration face. Oh yes. See, I did it without even looking at it. Happy days. I should have been a gynecologist, I really should have been. Okay, right, let's get a cable tie in there before it decides to move. Oh, and someone has blessed us with a super chat. Thank you very much. I'll have to look on the screen now. Who's that? Captain Meets Adventures. Thank you, my friend.
And the case looks better already.
And the case looks like it's, that's what it's going to look like actually in about, well, an hour's time or so. Cass getting a bit of a workout. I should put my sunglasses back on for the super chat lights.
And your
Oh,
RGB.
they turned off now. And for those of you that don't know, that is the theme tune to the Muppet Show, which is what you probably feel like you're watching right about now.
What, the grumpy old man in the box?
Yeah. Oh, the grumpy old men in the box. They were great. What was the name of the grumpy old men that sat in the box? Someone's gonna have to let me know. Right, so we've used tweezers and twist sticks, and we've got the cables in the right places. Tweezers and twist sticks, really.
Alexa's got no problem routing her cables in her case.
She probably haven't got any. You've only got like 2 cables in her case, one for the motherboard and one for the power graphics card. That's it. Everything else is NVMe. Simples. Right, this is going to be the interesting one. When I say interesting, no, I'm lying to myself. This is going to be horrible. Now, with this one, this is the main motherboard power 24-pin connector. Now, as you can potentially see here, there's a gap there where I could put the cables through, again in the back of the I/O shield, or I could go the easy route here. I'm going to go the easy route because I think I've risked my luck. Oh, Sky Stalker, bless you. Oh, you're very kind. I do love that little lamp. And if you're interested, you can pick up that lamp very, very cheaply on Amazon. I think it's about £5, which is actually great value for money, especially if you've got kids and they like to party and all that, and you can stick the lights on and make them feel a bit special and all that kind of stuff. Not that my kids would know anything about all that. Where did I put the cable ties, Cav? Where did I put the tweezers? They're here. Now tonight our daughter Angel's gone out into town with some of her pals, as I suppose we'd call them these days. And she's probably going to come home tonight and be absolutely ruined. Because my daughter doesn't take after me, and that girl can drink. Seriously. Who's putting money in the pocket now? Skystalker's done it again. Is that the same one? Has he pressed the button twice by mistake? Refunds are available at the tills. The only downside is with super chats, when the lights go on and the lights go off, I can't see what I'm doing, so I could be making even more of a mess of this. Which I find hard to believe. That is horrible. I don't believe I just did that. That is pretty naff. Okay, so we want to keep that one out, we want to keep this one out. Again, this is actually one of the downsides of this kind of build, that it's a little bit hard work. Whereas if this was like a fractal define, this would have been done by now and we'd be like drinking drinks by now. Whereas this is just a grind. But you save some money, I suppose, and it's part and parcel of that whole kind of that learning phase of what works, what doesn't. Now, I probably wouldn't have gone out and bought some of these components. The motherboard probably for this particular build is in hindsight a big mistake, and I should have gone for a full-size board. But again, for what we were trying to achieve here, it actually works out okay because it's cost effective. It's actually going to be pretty much a decent PC once it's all up and done. Fine for gaming. Now we've got a problem here with the ketchup and mustard, as you can probably see already. And obviously ketchup and mustard is a bad thing. So what we're going to do is we're going to go full verge crazy. And we're going to get a Sharpie pen out. Statler and Waldorf, that's the ones. So what we're going to do is we're just going to colour these in.
Ninjas, so will this build be on a video upload? I like looking at PC builds.
Yes, it will be on a video upload.
Only this?
Yeah, this video will be live on YouTube as a standalone video. After the stream's finished, you can watch it from the channel. Wow.
What are you doing?
Colouring in the cables.
Okay. But we have got a build coming up.
I'm bored of this now. Now the thing is, this this obviously doesn't hide the fact that they are completely ketchup and mustard. And I could actually just take them apart and go full Monty on it, but this will tone it down a bit so it doesn't actually look quite as bad. Could just buy cable extensions. Where's the fun in that? And I got a Sharpie already. I can see this video being on a YouTube like collection of like, this is what happens when YouTubers don't get enough sleep. So this is going to be what we refer to in the trade as a 10-footer. So from 10 foot away, it's going to look absolutely fine. On closer inspection, probably not so great. Again, it's taken some of that ketchup and mustard out of it. Now, you can look at that, obviously you're not looking at it particularly close up, but that's taken a lot of the edge off of that ketchup and mustard, hasn't it? I did this on a few builds ages ago, and it does work, especially when you've got the glass on, the lights are out, or sorry, the lights are on and the lights are down in the room. It actually looks fine. It seemed a bit stupid and a bit weird, but it works. I could just take the cables out and resheath them, but I really can't be bothered. Yeah, I can be bothered to colour them in, but I can't be bothered to take them all out. So now what I've got to do is I'm going to thread these cables through this drive caddy underneath here. So they're going to go through. Now I'm going to stick one right at the very front with the Molex on to power this up. And then the other two, I'll leave one in the bays ready to for a new drive. And the other one I'll use to power that drive at the top. So this isn't easy to do. Especially one-handed whilst trying to angle it towards the camera. Now, most of you here now who are watching who've probably built your own PCs are probably thinking, oh, I've done that before, that's so easy. It's like, yeah, it is. You try doing it get the right angle for a camera with one hand whilst trying to do a live stream. That ain't easy.
This guy's just bought his glasses we were affiliating.
He's bought some of those Link glasses. Skystalker, I don't want to ask a personal question, but potentially, do you fly aeroplanes? Because if you do, I would seriously consider probably not wearing these whilst flying an aeroplane. That would probably not be conducive to the health of you or the other people that potentially may be travelling with you. Could be a bit of fun though. It's better.
Skystalker said there is a lot of video cards sag too much.
Too much sag? Yeah. Do you know what I might do is I might, actually in our local village where we live, there's a load of second-hand shops, like charity shops. I don't know if they have them in America, like, what do they call them in America? It's like a thrift shop, is it?
Well, it's just second-hand.
Where you buy, yeah, basically it's like where people donate stuff for charities and you go there and you buy stuff and yeah, it's like used stuff. So what I might try and do is go in there and find like a little, like a Star Wars figure kind of thing. Maybe like a, what could I use in here which is RGB? What cartoon character that is RGB would fit underneath a graphics card?
The 4 Turtles.
The what?
4 Turtles, Ninja Turtles.
Oh, Teenage Ninja Mutant Turtles.
Red, blue, green and
That is actually a good idea. Turtles it is.
An Angel or Michelangelo.
I'm going to take his glass off a minute, I can't see a thing. So, Turtles it might be, depending on what they've got.
Glickdeck was going to do a live build, or he was until tonight.
Ah dear. Don't do it. Don't do a live build. It's the end of your career. Which is even worse for me because I never even had one. Right, let's stick that back in there. Another thing is actually, in all seriousness, that's ironic, but I'm going to say that. In all seriousness, when you're building a PC, just have some fun with it. Like, there's no point getting all het up and, oh, this ain't working, and losing your shit and getting really upset. There's no point.
Put your pinholes on.
Just put your pinhole glasses on, chill, just have some fun with it. It's like, what the hell? If nobody likes it, nobody likes it. Somebody somewhere is going to love it. And they're not going to give a damn about what you've done, what you've gone through. Literally, they're just going to get it home, load up their Steam library, and their parents aren't going to see them for the next couple of months. And that is what it's all about. Taking children away from their families. But not in like a Michael Jackson kind of way.
Glickdeck's, if he does it, he'll be doing it with a few beers just before long.
Yeah, that was my mistake. I should have had the beers.
Pissed up PC build.
Hmm?
Pissed up PC
Pissed up PC build, yeah, that's the way forward.
Like wifey sauce.
Yeah. Oh, damn it. Best not to get too het up about these things. Now, what I've managed to do now is this connection is purely Molex only, and that is the one that I should have taken through to the front after I'd done all that. But again, we will not be losing any sleep over this. It's all absolutely fine. I'm not going to go and get a semi-automatic machine gun and go crazy anywhere. It's all good. Shouldn't even joke about things like that, actually. My sincerest apologies if I've upset or offended anybody.
So let's just go with a large raspberry Pi.
I bet you can't wait to tuck into that pie. Is that a Pi or a Raspberry Pi computer Pi?
That's what I see my mic saying.
Right, thanks, C McKnight. You read my mind.
Is this a Red Dead Redemption 2 ready mic? Will there be benchmarks?
Yeah, totally. Now there isn't, I don't think there's going to be benchmarks because I'm going to have to install Windows. Although saying that, What's on the drive? Oh no, that's got my old Ryzen build on there, so that's going to be absolutely useless. So no, we're going to have to end up doing the benchmarks at a later date, I think. I don't even know if we'll be able to post it actually, because we don't have another monitor. Although saying I can plug it into that one, I think, can't I? Yeah, that'll be all right. Yeah, we can at least get it a post out of it anyway.
Angry Dog says he's going to buy his parts on Ryzen on Black Friday. What kind of fans would you recommend? It's quite cheap as I'm a student in school, and I'm thinking of getting an Arctic F12 120mm fans.
I was actually going to say, before you said Arctic F12 fans, if you're looking for fans and you're on a budget, the Arctic F12s are actually really good value for money. Especially they do like a multi-pack at the moment, which I think it works out something like $2.99 each for the fans.
Especially if you're running.
Which, yeah, those are brilliant value for money. There's the, is it the the TC12s, I think they are. The other ones that are super cheap, and those are the ones that are thermally controlled. So you don't need a PWM header, you just need power to them, like from a 3-pin. And they've got a little thermal conductor on there, so that when the case reaches, I think it's like 40 degrees, they'll start ramping up. Those are really good fans. And for the money, again, you can't go wrong. I was very tempted with my previous build that I had up on the shelf. It had like an absolute ton of fans in it. I was very tempted to put those thermally controlled fans actually in there, just to save me having to mess around with all the fan controls and stuff, which, as it turns out, it seems it's the motherboard which is at fault there, so we'll find out. Some more expense later and we'll find out. So don't forget to give generously to the Mike's Unboxing Motherboard Benevolence Fund. All financial things gladly received. Because motherboards are getting seriously expensive now. I remember when you could go to pretty much any computer fair in the UK and you could pick up either an Intel or AMD motherboard, a pretty decent one as well, like a 970 chipset, which was the higher end chipset, and you could pick up a decent board for like £50. Budget boards, £35, £40. Whereas now, even the low end ones are like £50. What's gone on? It's all become far too expensive, motherboards.
The GPU is RX480 and the CPU is a Ryzen 1200.
Oh right, okay. That's was it a 580 graphics card?
Yeah, RX480.
So RX580 and Ryzen 1200. And Ryzen 1200 is a little bit underpowered for that, to be honest. Although saying that, with a bit of an overclock on there, it should be fine. I think the Ryzen 1200 only had 4 cores and didn't have any SMT or hyperthreading, so you will find a little bit of a bottleneck in some areas with that, especially going forward with some of the newer titles. But having said that, I had a Ryzen 1200. In fact, Kath was using it for a long time in her PC, playing games, and she was playing, what was that theme hospital thing you had recently? 2 Point Hospital. She was playing that, and it was absolutely fine. Actually ran quite well, didn't it? So there we go, guys and girls. It's not pretty, if I'm completely honest with you. I would have liked to have done it prettier than that. But having said that, essentially there's going to be a side panel on it. So all those evils are now beautiful and forgotten. If I can actually get the side panel on. There, happy days. And if we spin it around to look at this side, and we'll just forget for a minute that I've coloured in the cables with a black marker pen.
We'll forget, or you will?
They should forget. Let's get some screws back in here. Now what I'm going to do is, because obviously time is cracking on, I didn't realise how late it was getting, but to install Windows and get the Steam downloads and stuff on here is going to take quite a while, so I won't be doing that tonight. But what I probably will do at some point in the midweek is I'll do an update on this video. So click on the subscribe button, all that kind of stuff, and you'll find out how this thing actually performs. And it wouldn't have performed very well actually, because that connector isn't in very well. Or is it?
Guy Stalkers just said apparently he got charged twice for good with that. It went off twice, didn't it?
Yeah, the super chat did go off twice. I don't know. I'll put a thing on it, a chargeback or whatever. Oh, right, that's it.
RX480 in this build.
It's pretty much done. Doesn't look too bad, does it? So let's fire it up and actually I'll put the side panel on. Actually, I won't put the side panel on because calf. I will pack away some of this so I can make some room and also give me a chance to think about my life. What was I going to put in here? Oh yeah, that was it, that cable. So in the week, what we'll do is we'll stick on a new copy of Windows 10, do a fresh install with Windows 1909. And speaking of which, those of you that are obviously computer users, have you put Windows 1909 on your machine, or have you allowed the update to go ahead? I know there's a few people in the kind of the tech press who are a little bit sort of cautious about it and didn't want to go and put it on straight away. But I've got to be honest with you, I've done it on 1, 2, 3, 4 PCs so far, and I've found no problems whatsoever.
Mine's not on.
Yours is on 1909, I think.
Well, the other one.
If you're not sure if yours is on 1909, you can just type in WinVer as a command from the command prompt, and you see which version you're currently on. I don't think I've found any difference at all. I don't think it's any faster or any slower. It doesn't have any real negative effects that I can see at the moment.
How do I find that?
Type in CMD or just type in WinVer. Yeah. Then run that command on the right hand side.
Run as administrator.
Up a bit.
Open.
Up.
Yeah.
Over.
That one.
On the right hand side, top right. Down a bit. That's it. There you go.
1903.
You're on 1903 still? I thought I updated yours.
No.
You butthead.
I told you.
Oh well. Right, I need to find I need to looky for a power cable. And actually, do you want to see the boot screen? Do you want to see if it actually boots up? Let us know in the comments what your thoughts are. Do you actually want to see the post screen? Because if you do, I'm going to have to put the connect up the HDMI cable from the monitor, which I don't mind doing. I'm cool to do that, but I don't want to go through that if you guys aren't interested in seeing it, obviously. So you carry on letting me know while I just move all this stuff so I don't stand on all these hard drives. Oh, which I think I already am. Oh crap, what was that I just broke? Now there is the original Novatech receipt for the MSI RX480 Armor 8 gig. Now this was purchased on the 12th of the 3rd, 2017 at 5:10 PM in the evening, and have a guess how much my total invoice was for this graphics card back in March of 2017. I'll let you have a guess. I'm going to get some cables out to do this.
Glenn asked, is that a blinking LED on the NVMe drive on the PC behind you?
Yes, it is, unfortunately. And it does suck. Sorry, Glenn has asked, is that a blinking LED on the NVMe drive in the background, which I'm pointing to at the moment, which you can probably...
Aletta's just eating her girlfriend's pie.
Aletta's just eating her girlfriend's pie, which, hey,
Tasty.
what happens between consenting adults is absolutely fine by us. Right, I need a HDMI. Oh, this is going to go wrong. Right, I'm going to have to destroy my set a little bit now. It's all your fault. I hope you're happy. So luckily there's a bit of trunking which I've put behind this desk, which is the HDMI cable and the, oh my goodness, I nearly dropped the EVGA GeForce 960 thing. Right. Talk amongst yourselves. Actually, No, it won't. Kath, remind me to go on Amazon and buy a long HDMI cable. Okay.
Right, they think
Yeah.
210,
Yeah.
275,
Yeah.
235,
Yeah.
250,
250. Yeah.
299, and 200.
Who?
189.99.
189.99. Who guessed 189.99? I want to know. That's got to be Seam at Night.
No,
No?
no. Next guess.
Glenn.
Yeah. And Captain Meat's Adventures thought you always wore hot pants.
I don't. No, not today.
I said you're not Kylie, I should be so lucky.
No hot pants. I've got to stop doing that. Actually, I'm gonna get. Oh crap!
220.
I need some cables. Right, Kath, what can I unplug from here? I need a cable. Oh no, I took the plug off that one. Oh crap, and that one.
Spray one in the cupboard under the stairs.
Hallelujah. Find one. Oh, there's a power supply in there. Right, Kath. Can you... Oh, actually, no, that's all right, I got it. Don't worry, I'm fine. I got it. Let's plug that in. And hopefully it won't go pop straight away. Hey. Okay, right. So if I plug in the HDMI,
Is the GTX 1650 good?
is the GTX 1650 good? Comparatively, which is probably not the answer you wanted. Yeah, it's not great. It's okay. It depends what your expectations are, if I'm completely honest. That was
I think that PC, I think the graphics
it's getting worse.
camera angle is on than what it looks in real life.
Oh, is it?
Because it's giving
Let's crack out the old Microsoft Internet keyboard.
Skywalker is giving him fits.
Hey, he's not liking it.
Sag is giving him fits. But it looks worse, I think, from there.
Right. Oh, typical. It's too big.
Never had that before.
How many inches of sag have we got? So at this end we are at 125 mil. At this end we are under 100, so we've got about that much. So what can I wedge under there? So Skystalker doesn't have some kind of cardiac arrest. Ooh. So close. Copyright Nintendo. Right.
And then you said that keyboard looks ancient, and I said no, it's your new one.
Yes, that's my...
Joking, it's from the 1930s.
Right, here we go, fingers crossed. Hey! Oh, I shouldn't say that because the screen hasn't booted up yet. Hello.
Listening people.
Is it going to boot up? Oh no, of course it won't. I haven't plugged the bloody other end of the HDMI, have I? I've plugged it into the computer. So I've...
50 year notes to see it explode.
It's...
Coins have come out.
Coins should come out when I put it on eBay. Oh, I can't believe I connected a HDMI cable from a computer graphics card to another computer graphics card. That is like the optimum of stupidity. Please give me an output. Dot, 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 dot to beat. Well, the RGB looks alright. Oh, did I unplug that one as well? Okay, something's gone wrong, surprisingly. That is right, isn't it? That is in the right one. We haven't got onboard graphics, have we? So that won't be it. Oh dear.
Kev wants it off.
It is off. Come on, please post. Really, got a number lock. Yeah, we got an output. Oh, prepare an automatic repair. That's all right, we can live with that. So it does post. Actually, can you see that? Yeah, they can see that in the background, can't they?
So Super says power cycle mic should be good.
Yeah. That looks actually quite cool, that in there, doesn't it? Turn off your bloody thing. I'll leave it on then.
Now, Sonic.
So,
Mike.
hello.
At least the Verge's PC worked.
Wow.
Who said that?
See McKnight.
No.
ClickTech.
No.
A letter.
Yeah.
Hey.
You're cheating.
Right, let's have a look. See what you guys have been commenting. That says, looks great, Mike. MB says, lol. And then says, computer says no. It did a little bit. Skystalker says, the memory training is taking a bit, by the way. Always install a speaker. People that don't do that are silly. Yeah, I should have done that actually. I should have put the BIOS speaker, but I did actually throw it in one of the bins earlier on today. And I was looking around for it just now thinking, I really should connect to the BIOS battery. Oh, automatic repair couldn't repair your PC. Well, that sucks major balls, doesn't it? Shut down then. See if we can get it to boot back up. Probably the reason behind that is because I think I copied the drive from my Ryzen 5 2600 system actually, so it should have worked. Don't know why it didn't. Oh, it's prepare an automatic prepare. Okay. No SIs, so I like that. Gee, Mike, at least the Verge's PC worked. Oh. So hurt right now.
Did you ever do a build in the Thermaltake Core V1?
Yes, I did do a build in the Thermaltake Core V, not the V1, I did the V21, not the V1. The V1 is the ITX. Yeah, I did do a build. I remember doing that because that was the Athlon 200 GE with the graphics card. Yes, I have done that. Skystalker says, show the post screen memory and CPU speeds. Okay, let's do that. So, shut down, let's go into the BIOS. Oh, I love this keyboard. I want another one of these keyboards, but in black. They did do one. Kath, you might have to do some photography. No, not that sort. Matthew Day saying, is the drives correctly set in the BIOS? It's a good question actually, let's take a look. So currently, so saying there, it's a B45M HDV R4.
You didn't ever do it.
Revision 3.1, processor type Ryzen 5 1400 quad core processor, 3200 megahertz. Microcode update is something or other. Total memory 16 gigs, and it's currently registering as DDR4 266666. which is okay. Oh, we haven't got a mouse now.
Why don't you put your webcam up to it?
I can't hold it and type at the same time. Can you aim the camera around, please?
You didn't ever do a build in it.
I did.
You
Did.
didn't. I can't see what I'm doing.
You can leave it on there, just turn the camera.
Right, go big.
Yeah. On that.
Sorry.
Sorry, viewers or viewer.
I'm pressing all the wrong buttons.
Don't press any buttons because you'll cut the stream off.
Is it okay?
I don't know. Can't see.
Hold on.
Yay, there you go. Yeah, that's it.
It's
That's
not
fine.
straight though, is it?
It don't matter, don't worry. Don't damage it. Right, so let's have a look. So XMP profile. I don't think we can actually set the XMP on there. Oh, let's try it. Yeah, that'll do. DRAM frequency, blah, blah, blah. Advanced CPU configurations. So everything's set to auto. That's okay, that's fine. Onboard devices, blah, 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 etc. Storage, SATA enabled. SATA mode HCI, yeah. SATA hot plug, disabled. Storage device list. Yeah, that's there. We'll turn off the serial port because we don't want that. ACPI suspend to RAM. Actually, I don't like suspend to RAM. So we'll disable that. That's all good. CPU. Anything exciting in there? No, that's all looking good. PBS.
100% not going to post at 3600.
Who said that?
Who do you reckon?
Who says it's not going to post it? 3600.
Glenn.
Glenn. Glenn. 100% not going to post it. 3600.
Many build guides ignore BIOS setup. Very important. Sky.
Yeah, that's true. Sky Stalker is talking absolute sense. Sometimes setting up the BIOS is a really important thing to do. And actually, just while we're in the BIOS, CPU temperature 32 degrees. That's pretty awesome because in the house right now it's probably about 22 degrees. So it's only 10 degrees over ambient, and that's with a stock cooler. That's pretty sweet. Happy days. Yeah, quite like that. So boot driver, so we don't want anything there. Boot options, so boot option 2, we'll have that one. Yeah, that's fine. Boot from onboard LAN, don't want that. Boot bleep. I haven't got a buzzer, but I would quite like that. Fast boot's turned off. Boot manager. I think we're pretty much okay there. Although saying that, like I said, I don't know if it's going to boot with the RAM set at that speed because it doesn't actually technically support that. But let's live dangerously and we'll try it. You never know. Oh, actually, I have got a Windows boot disk there, so I could see if it will actually do setup. It might do.
Sky Stalker wanted you to set the date.
Oh,
Please.
can I set the date? Okay, I'll do that. Hang on, I've got to get into the BIOS first, and I'm going to get my Windows boot media, which is hanging up over on my desk. So, time and date. Where's time and date? I didn't even see that. Main. Yeah, where is time and date? It hasn't even got time and date. Why has it not got time and date?
What's that on the bottom? Thursday the 7th of the 18th, 2019.
Yeah, but I can't get to there to change it. Because I don't have a mouse. Yeah, there's no way to do that, is there? Oh, and it appears that it's locked up now. The BIOS is actually frozen. How does that even happen? Okay, I've never known that, for the BIOS to freeze. Or is it this? Oh, I know what it is. This is that's why we stopped using this keyboard, wasn't it? Because the keyboard was bad.
Shut my keyboard.
Let's unplug that. Never unplug a keyboard while it's on, kids. Can you grab my keyboard? Actually, oh yeah, you better do it, haven't you? You grab the little Logitech one from the front room and the little Wi-Fi dongle and the PC.
What piece? Is that the PC underneath?
Yeah. Right, Kath's just going to get a keyboard and trackpad so we can try and do this. I'll plug in. I'm hoping that it hasn't actually just died, which potentially it has just died live on air. Great. Yeah, Skystalker says use a. Skystalker says it's because I filled up the keyboard buffer. Right, don't allow me to use that keyboard ever again. Thank you.
Should I give it the whole boot?
Yeah, beat the crap out of it, huh? Oh, I bet this bloody thing's flat now, isn't it?
Should we do it?
Because that was on. Or did you turn it on?
No. Should we do a live subscriber giveaway for the old 1930s keyboard?
Yeah.
Broken keyboard.
Right, I don't think that's going to work, so let's hit the reset button and hope that this is kind of working. That'd be great if we had a dead board. What's happened there? Did anyone just see what was on the screen then? Before it just stopped? I think I've upset it with that RAM. Well, I was saying that, it shouldn't have rebooted then, should it? No, I think I've upset it now. We've gone full on Verge.
But the Mario light's still working.
The Mario light does still work. I have to find that BIOS button battery thing.
If you have a really bad boot, you need to do a full power cycle to turn off power supply.
Well, where is that? There we go. Right, let's try again.
Got a good boot.
Well, this thing is definitely unhappy. Very, very unhappy.
Some boards will default after 3 or sometimes 5 attempts.
Yeah, let's try that. Let's try a couple of reboots and then I'm going to reset the CMOS, which...
Hit the CPU to get all that juice out.
yeah.
Skystalker, see, now you need the speaker.
Yeah, I do. Hey, here we go. Hey. Invalid boot disk. And my batteries are flat in the keyboard.
What are they?
Oh no, hang on.
What the hell?
Oh, well that's working now. Oh, that's because I didn't put the disc in. Oh, that didn't sound good. Right, let's have a boot menu. Oh, I can't because I haven't got an F key, have I? This thing is not happy.
It's not the hardware, it's the user.
Yeah, computer says no. Right, let's take out that RAM, which actually looks nice. Actually, I don't want to take out that RAM. Let's take out one stick.
Bang!
Bang! Bang, and the dirt was gone. Right, we've got BIOS. Right, let's see if we can change the time. Yay! And it is currently Saturday the 13th.
Don't take out
No?
your RAM, use it at default 2666.
Yeah, I think I will do after it's done a boot.
It didn't say the RAM speed changed, did he?
No.
Third party question.
Third party questions are the best. What time is it anyway? 22 o'clock.
It's 23 o'clock. 23:02.
That's close enough. There we go, Sky. Happy days, my friend. So let's have a look, see what the memory says is at now. DDR. Oh, so it did actually boot up at DDR4 3600. Who would have thought it? Didn't boot up with two sticks though.
Is there a 3200 profile?
Actually, let's have a look at the DRAM timing. So there's the DRAM specs. So it should do 1818 to 84. Yeah, I do.
Chris said, thanks Mike, we'll save your bacon later.
Yeah.
Set 3200. Set it to, let's see now, Skystalker set it to 2666 with two stick, then work from there.
Okay, that sounds reasonable.
Ben's pointing up. Or trying to give you the finger.
Let's see. Yeah, let's just set it to auto. Let's see what that does.
Boot up at 3600, awesome. I hope my new RAM will do the same. It takes me forever to get my 3200 RAM to run at 3.6.
Hey!
Single channel 15% slower than dual channel.
Now that isn't actually booting. I'm pretty sure that's just trying to do Windows setup because I've put a USB flash disk in there now. It seems to be taking a long time to actually do the spinning wheel of setup. Ah, there we go.
Imagine if it's countdown, what would it be doing now?
Do 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 boo. Install now.
Where are you going to get your CD key from?
Well, really, I should get my CD key from premiumcdkeys.com, but I know this one's probably got one already on it somewhere in the Windows library, so I'm going to hope it will actually find the old key that I used on it previously, which would be a 10 Pro. Although saying that, it was actually no, it was the same hardware, so it should pick it up. We'll give it a go. Oh, look at all those partitions. Delete. Delete. Yeah, it probably does have information that I want to keep, but delete. This is a lot easier to do with a mouse. Mental note to self, next time have a keyboard and mouse ready. Right, there we go. There we go. Right, let's leave that running.
What to save my legs?
Yeah. Right, Kath, can you, what?
To save my legs. And then you're like, no, can you?
You can just put the camera back where he belongs.
Alright, bear with us.
Oh, what's that turned off now? Okay, so there it goes. We'll let it do the setup. It should be fine.
Where to is better now? But straight.
Yeah, that'll do. I think. I've still got my glasses on indoors.
Put them on backwards.
There we go. Is there a light? Oh, the lights are off, aren't they?
Oh yeah.
Let's take
That's
that.
Click Tech, and then he's never been back on
That's,
since.
that's bloody Kev.
Doesn't care. Told you to do that. When?
Bright light. That actually, I quite like the look of that inside there. The Mario thing.
That we bought for George for Christmas and stuff
Oh.
like that.
The trouble is, though, it needs to be on that angle, doesn't it, to support the power supply cable. And also, I know, that's all right, because there's no air coming up that way anyway, is there? A bit like my head. Happy days. So that's working out right. Windows is, well, it's not going to do the updates or installs, is it? Or any of the other stuff that it needs to do. Anyway, never mind. Right, I'm going to let Karen do that. Let's get my laptop round here. The whole point of buying a laptop is to have it portable. So it makes sense to me to actually have it portable.
Like airport. I think I saw that.
What's that, air porn?
Yeah, you stuck your finger
Right.
in your ear.
Oh la la!
You had bingo wings.
That bingo wings going on as well. Oh, that's just bingo wings and air porn.
You could have done a bit.
Ram it in, get it? Ram it in. Ram. I'm here a week. Alright, let's catch up. Why is this not saying live? Okay. Okay, let's catch up on some of these comments. Skystork says, Mike, that Mario thing works awesome. Please keep it there. Okay, I will. Base Shelter says the classic line from the Blues Brothers. Happy days. Hit the power switch. Seamlight says I got Crucial Ballistic Sport and that was fine on Asus MSI ASRock on 1st and 2nd gen. Hopefully no memory of that joke in the future. Captain Meets Adventure says, Mike, what do you think Black Friday will be like this year? Well, I'm going to put money on it being on a Friday, and I'm also going to put money on it being a Black Friday, and it being next week. Other than that, I haven't got a clue. There's been so many good deals recently on Amazon and various other sites that it's quite scary to think what could actually be around the corner. It's a very, very weird time at the moment. PC stuff is so cheap at the moment, it's ridiculous. Although motherboards, like I said earlier, motherboards are still super expensive. Ryzen 5 1600, I don't think is going to drop any further. I think if anything, pretty much all the stocks of the Ryzen 5 1600 have essentially gone. Yeah, if they do reduce it further, because what was it recently? £99, wasn't it? £100 roughly. So maybe as little as 80. I can't imagine it going much lower than that, because otherwise it would kind of bastardize the 2200G cells and anything else around that sort of era, which again they're still struggling, well not struggling, but they're finding it difficult to get rid of. I don't know, I think the killer deal is going to be probably Ryzen 5 2600. I think that will come down to, it's been around 110, 120 mark recently, so if that comes down to like £100, that'd be pretty decent. We'll like that.
What do you reckon IPL hair laser treatment things will go down to?
I don't know. Kath wants to know what IPL laser treatment things are going to come down to. Hopefully cheap, we'll get some of them. Do some IPL live on the channel, whatever that is. Graphics cards, I don't see graphics cards going down in price. 2080s, 2070s, I can't see them changing much, if anything. 2060s, you might see a bit of a drop because of the super and stuff like that. Oh, is that on its first reboot, or is it on the second reboot? I didn't look. Let's take it out anyway. Yeah, looks like that's going to boot. That's quite good actually, I can see what's going on behind me in the screen here. That's pretty cool. I don't actually need eyes in the back of my head. Rising up. Alexa says, I have to miss Black Friday, money is already spent. Angry Dodge, would it be worth buying now or wait until Black Friday? Well, it depends where you buy. If you're buying from Amazon, then you might as well do it now, because you can always send stuff back to Amazon within 30 days anyway. So if it does turn out a lot cheaper, you just return it, or get on the phone to them, customer support, and say, this has been reduced. Can I have a refund or credit on my account for the amount? Generally, they'll do it. As long as you're not being a dick about it. If you start being a dick about it, they'll just say, right, send it back then. Then you have to reorder.
That name is beautiful.
Yeah. Best thing I find with Amazon is when you're speaking to them, doing the chat, always tell them what their name means in English or whatever. So, if they've got some, I find that depending on what time I kind of go on the call center, it generally tends to be someone from India or of an Indian name. So I look at the name on Google, see what it means, and then I say in the chat, oh, that's a lovely name. That means Big Mountain or whatever it is. And they're like, oh, thank you very much, Mike. Next thing you know, you're getting refunds sent through. It's fantastic, my friends. A little bit of friendliness goes a long way. Cyber Monday would be good on the following Monday. Yeah, that's always the thing, isn't it? Because you get the bloody Friday, bloody Friday. Yeah, and you think, oh, great deals, but there might be something better on Monday.
Monday's not online.
And then Monday comes around, and yeah, nothing happens. Where's the keyboard? There it is. Dear lordy lordy. Start with the region. United Kingdom. Yes, that is where I am at. Yep, I don't want to add bloody another thing. No, skip. Skip. Let's connect you to a network. I don't have internet. I don't have internet still. Next. Who's going to use this PC? Let's call them user, because that's not very... Create a memorable password. Next. I love that. Oh dear. Device history, yeah, whatever. Get help. No. Go away. Not interested. No. 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 Basic. And no. No. Why can't I just say no to all? Hi. Right, actually, I have got an Ethernet cable after all that. Oh my goodness gracious me. Let's plug this bad boy in. It's probably not a good idea when I'm streaming to plug in an internet device so it sucks the entire internet into it. Right, let's have a look at Angry Dodge. The thing is, either I buy the Ryzen 1200 with the RX480 or get the Ryzen 2600 with no GPU and save up for an RX580. Angry Dodge, I would be completely upfront and honest with you that the Ryzen 1200 is not going to be a great match for the RX580. The RX580 can be a very good card, but the 1200 is going to hold it back, and you will find the 1200 lacking in some areas. I'd be honest with you, I'd go for the Ryzen 2600 and save up for a couple of weeks or however for the RX580, which will drop in price as well. So it's always better to spend a little bit more on the CPU, because you don't want to be replacing that if at all possible. Same with the GPU really. There's no point buying something and then having to upgrade it very quickly after. It just and also then what you're trying to resell won't have a good resale value, because if you're selling it, there's a good reason why you're selling it. It's because it's not good at what you want it to do, and because it's in the kind of towards the mid to lower end, there's a limited market of who's actually going to buy it. So anyway, yeah, hopefully that answers your questions. Meg's Visuals, damn, I missed the whole build. What was the budget you guys spent on the rig? That's a good question actually. We've never actually gone through that. I need a thing that calculates figures.
You used to have one on your desk.
I did have one. Oh, it's on my other desk now. I'll get it. That's right, I'll get it. I'll get it. I'll get it. Right, let's work out what this this sack of spanners has cost me. Now this is what it's cost me, not what it would cost retail possibly. So let's start with the case. Now, actually that's a really difficult one to start on, because the case was actually sent to me for a review from Sahara. So Sahara P10 Sync, what retail? I think the retail price is about £60, but I'm gonna say 60 for the case. It'd be fine, don't worry. The power supply I think was, I want to say 20. Graphics card, arguably if you pick one up second hand you're looking at 100. CPU cost me 50. The RAM again was sent to me for review, so technically 16 gigs of DDR4 at the moment. What we're saying is RGB stuff, £70. Does that sound about right? Oh, motherboard, 50. The Sharpie, oh, the hard drive, the SSD, so it's 250 gigs, so let's say 20 quid for that. They're a bit more than that sometimes, but I think that's it. So that can be right. That seems really cheap. Motherboard, processor, RAM, graphics card, SSD, power supply. Well, I'm making that to be 370, which seems quite a little amount. So yeah, 370 I reckon for that. For 16 gigs, oh, it's already finished. And it's currently downloading drivers by the looks of it. Let's see what drivers are installed, and tell you what, just for the crack, even though we've not installed any drivers or done anything, let's do a quick Cinebench on it. That'll be fun. And I've only got one stick of RAM in there, so that's not going to help either. Cinebench is probably not a great idea to do on this, to be honest with you. But it's quite quick to download. He says. Few downloads. It's actually quite a snappy PC actually, even though we're just in Windows at the moment and we've not installed any drivers or anything. It doesn't seem too bad. Let's see what Device Manager thinks is in there at the moment. So just me. Actually, it looks like he's installed all the drivers anyway. Probably not very modern ones, but Fantastic. Let's have a look. Extract all. So any guesses on what the Cinebench R15 score is going to be and whether or not it's actually going to make it through one pass? I don't think it's going to be particularly good.
Skystalker said you do it. You're doing any deals with premium CD keys? I thought you were doing some giveaways.
Ah, right, yeah, Skystalker said, Mike, you need deals with premium CD keys. I thought you were going to do some giveaways. I am, sorry, I've got itchy head. I've shaved my head today and I didn't vacuum it after. There's hairs everywhere. Yes, we will be doing that. We have got a couple of keys which we can give away already. And in fact, actually, yeah, I could probably do that now, actually. Yeah, there's quite a few of you watching the stream at the moment, so is there anybody on here who would like a Windows 10 Pro installation key? If you're in need of one, let's hear about it in the comments below.
Can you do a random thing on the comments?
And I don't know if I can do a random thing, so...
On a different video. So we can pick it out.
I don't know if that'd work. Actually, that'll be a good idea. If you want a Windows 10 PC key, go to our premium CD keys video, which Kath's going to put a link in. She's going to be doing it now, and just put a comment in there saying I need a key, and we'll pick a random winner, and we'll send you over a Windows 10 Pro key, which actually has been donated by an anonymous beneficiary of the Mike's Unboxing channel. We're not going to name any names. And yeah, tell us the reason why you want the key, and the one with the most genuine reason or the most interesting reason will get a key. Kath will post a link shortly.
How to install Microsoft Office, on that one?
Yeah, do it. Yeah, okay. Yeah, do it on the premium CD keys one. Because that's Windows 10. Alexa says, try to beat my Cinebench R15 score, 1678. Now, today I got on my... I posted it on the Discord, I can't remember how much it was. Glenn, can you remember how much it was that I got on mine? My R5 3600? I don't think it was in the 16s, I think it was in the 15s. Anyway, let's have a look.
Is this one best price on genuine Microsoft?
Yeah, that'll do. Oh, I can't use that mouse. The sound works. In fact, actually, that's a good sign, because with the motherboard in that other PC, there's this weird thing that it makes a crackle down the HDMI cable, which is why I think that motherboard's on its way out. And you get a weird pop, but it doesn't do it on there, so that's good. So let's click on, let's do run all tests. It can't do any harm, can it? Keep best score. We'll do advanced benchmark. We won't do the single core because that's just going to be humiliating. And let's click run. Let's see how it does. I think it's not going to do great, clearly.
So, okay, so put the link and the name of the video and comment on this video.
Yeah.
And a picture of you with sunglasses.
Yeah, that'll do. Oh, already I can hear some coil whine. Seamanite says, Mike, you posted 1545. Yeah, that was pretty piss poor. I seriously need to do some... There's nothing wrong with my system, there's got to be. Both of them, for that matter. I can't work out what it is. I've got a feeling it might be Adobe Creative Suite that runs in the background, taking up massive amounts of CPU power. Base Shelter is off for dinner. Enjoy. Captain Meets Adventures, I like that. I need a Windows 10 key as the happiness vampire I work with has all the keys in his coffin. I put a her in there somewhere. Dr. Mike Van Helsing, help.
Comment on that video.
If you want the key, comment on the video that Cav's put the link in above.
Well, it's under your name.
Skystalker says, I've never had coil whine or coil noise. Oh, you haven't lived. Is that finished or is it doing something? Oh, why didn't it do that? Oh, it's that keyboard. That's getting annoying. Let's see all those lovely threads. Woo! It's not running as slow as I thought it was going to actually. It's pretty good. So coil whine, can't really hear it now because the fans have, it's not doing anything, but it's pretty cool. But yeah, you do get a coil whine. It's unfortunately it's the nature of the way electronics work, especially as they get older as well, or they start degrading. Even some brand new cards get it coil whine straight from day one. It's just the way that the well, it used to be that literally there were coils inside and the coils would vibrate at such a frequency because of the electricity and the hertz and all that kind of stuff, and they would literally whine because they're rubbing together. So to get around that, they used to actually put silicon actually on the coils themselves to stop them from vibrating against each other, which generally helps. And in fact, still to this day, you can use silicons and things like that to cover the caps or coils. It doesn't do the same process because obviously the coils aren't exposed, but the actual silicon does act as like an insulator, so it quietens it down a little bit. Oh, that finished. So, oh my goodness, that's not good. So Cinebench R15, and we've got 661. That's not great. So clearly the chipset drivers and all that haven't been installed at all. So that's roughly running the same as a Intel Core i7 3770, which again isn't an entire slouch, and for gaming is actually still relatively good. But yeah, that's not a great score. So I think some chipset drivers and some optimizations are definitely needed there. Dear God. Right, I think that is pretty much going to be it for tonight. I can't really see me doing much more. This needs a little bit of work, and I need to tidy up all this mess because this is getting way out of hand. Kath's looking at me as if to say something.
What do you winner?
What do you think?
Before you
Oh, what, for the thing?
go? Yeah.
I haven't got enough people doing it yet, have they? Has anyone commented? Right, we haven't had many people commenting, so we'll give the people that haven't managed to get on the stream. So if you want to win a Windows 10 Pro key, go over to the link in the video description that Kath's put in there in the comments, in the chat. There'll be a link in the description after when this video is uploaded as well. So if you want a key, let us know, give us a good reason for it, and we'll either do a draw during the week and we'll announce it on Twitter or Instagram or one of those other social media things. Or it'll be next Saturday night, we'll just let you know. And
Next Saturday night probably better.
yeah, actually next Saturday night would probably be better. Yeah, I think that was a little bit of fun. We've had a bit of a laugh with this. Actually, considering the kind of the budget nature of this and what's gone into it, that ain't a bad little system, to be honest with you. And for less than £400, 1080p gaming in there is going to be fantastic. I'm going to have a good excuse now to play some CSGO and some Rocket League and a bit of Battlefield 5, and I'll try and get some footage of it as well so you guys can see what it's like, and I'll probably do an update either in the week or a little bit later on. But yeah, we'll see what it's like. I think it's going to be good fun, and that's what it's about at the end of the day, isn't it? It's not about being all serious and stuffy about this stuff. Like, we will like to have a play, have a dabble with it, have a bit of a laugh, and learn something and have some fun on the way. So that is pretty much it. So yeah, thanks to everyone who is stopped by this evening. Hopefully you've enjoyed it and had a bit of a laugh with us. if you've got any comments about the PC, or actually if you're even interested in buying it, drop me a link or email or whatever, and we'll ship it out to you. But although after you've seen how I built it, you possibly wouldn't want to, but there you go. So thanks to everyone who is contributed tonight, and I'll give a quick shout out to those that are still here. So Angry Dodge, Captain Meets Adventures, Seam at Night, Glenn, Kath, Aletta and Sky Stalker, thank you all so much. And for those that have already left the chat, thank you all again for taking part. And we'll do the same thing again next Saturday night. Obviously, next Saturday we're going to be in the midst of the Black Friday deals, so we'll be talking about who's got the best deals so far, all those kinds of things. Captain Meets Adventure has asked, Mike, what is your favourite cheese? Good question. Something vintage and strong, mature. Yeah, cheddar. That's completely off topic. Anyway, night to all of you. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for having a laugh with us and watching me make a right pig's ear of this and going all verge on it. Don't forget, if you do want to improve your eyesight, bizarrely, these do actually seem to work. So if you're a person who needs glasses or is beginning to need glasses, wear these for a couple of hours a day or an hour a day, or sorry, a couple of minutes a day. Kath's just corrected me. A couple of minutes a day you can wear these, and actually it does strengthen your eyes and your eyesight does get better. Don't know how it works. It's science, yo. Anyway, I've been Mike. This is Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How To, and hopefully we'll catch you in the next live stream. Thanks for watching. Oh, I can't even end the stream now, can I? Because my PC's over there. That's not worked out very well. I don't think I can anyway. Let's have a look. Dear God. I'm going to literally have to pull the plug, I think. Stream. Oh no, I can do it from here, I think. Or can I? Yes, I can. Yes. I didn't realise I could do that. For those of you that are YouTubers, you can actually, I've just worked out, in the new YouTube Creator Studio, you can actually look at what's going on. I can see the stream, I can see the concurrent viewers, how many likes we've had, chat revenue, all that kind of stuff, and I can see all the text. Fantastic. So anyway, let's end the stream again. Thanks for stopping by, everybody, and we'll catch you next Saturday, 9 PM. See you later.